Grzybowska is ranked at number 84, but has been as high as number 60. So in terms of ranking, Qian clearly the favourite, but the great interest here is the defence versus the attack, and how strong is Katarzyna Grzybowska-Franc against the backspin. Can she read the spin? Can she pick out the float? Can she lift the heavy backspins? They're the questions that will be answered very soon as the players come out for this second women's singles semi-final. Happens. Slightly disappointing for me. One of the Polish coaches is the most animated coach here. He's jumping up and down, he's doing a few dances in the corner, he's actually looking as though he wants to play. He's playing all the shots from his seat. He's great entertainment. There we see the stats on Qian, 32 years of age, 28 in the world, seeded 15. And she's a right-handed defensive player. We'll see her drop away from the table and use backspin. How much she attacks will depend. And there she is. Grzybowska-Franc, 29 years of age, world ranked at 84, seeded 29. Top 32 players went through to the first round. The knockout stage didn't have to come through the group, so she just made it there. But she's been in great form. She has been ranked as high as number 60, has Grzybowska.
Grzybowska to serve, level.
And so, the 2-minute practice is up, and the first 5-6 points, I think, will tell us how this game is going to pan out. Certainly looks as though Qian Grzybowska can read the spin. Good backhand topspin from the right-handed attacking player. So this will be one of the best tournaments Grzybowska's had. Semi-final of the European Championships. A real highlight for her. And she started strong here, Dan.
And you mentioned the stats and the seedings and their world rankings. What's interesting is these two players have never met in competition before. I've even looked in league matches, ITTF events, never played before in competitive tournaments. However, they're both from Poland, so they've probably played a lot of times in practice. So it is going to be very interesting. And as you say, Grzybowska has took a fantastic lead here, 4-0 up, reading the backspin very well and smashing through on those float balls. Yesterday, Don, we watched Tran defeat Bernadette Sox. Interesting game.
5 low.
Lee Tran was amazing, attacking, a flying start, 5-0.
Indications are that Grzybowska is very comfortable against backspin. Or certainly very comfortable against Qian. So important for the attacking players to practice against defense. If you don't practice against the backspin players, you come up and they can take you out. It's interesting, we don't have that many defensive players. Quite a few here in the women's event. I think in the men's event, I'm looking to you, Dan, here to help me out. Gionis is here from words of wisdom on this.
Yeah, you're completely right there, Don. There is a Ruin Phyllis as well from Germany. Fantastic defender, but you are right. There is a lot less now, and I'm pretty sure, Don, when you was England coach and stuff, there was Matthew Side, there was a lot of defenders back in the day, and games got quicker, it's harder for defensive players now. I've heard some defenders say it's harder with the plastic ball to defend with. Players are able to read the float easier, but as you see here, Qian is in the semi-finals and doing a very good job as a defensive attacking player.
5-4.
But for me, Don, I really enjoy it when there are defenders. You know, different style, different tactics. You get a lot of great rallies. Jonas yesterday was spectacular, and the crowd were on their feet.
I think think the problem for the
5-all.
defenders is when they play against each other. That happens very, very rarely, because obviously there aren't many of them. But as you say, 70s and 80s, there were more defensive players around. And in fact, our co-commentator, Jill Parker, Jill Hammersley, as she was better known when she played, won this tournament back in 1976, beating Maria Alexandru in the final. And Maria Alexandru was a world-class defender, Jill a defender, and that game took quite a while. Expedite came in and... But I agree with you. I do think the attacker versus the defender is a great game to watch. Gionis is massively entertaining, and just look what's happening here now. Li Qian. So she was panicking, did she? Even when she was 5-love down, she just kept her focus, kept chiseling away, varying the spin.
6-7.
Unforced error there. And Lee's very high standards. For the defensive player.
So sure is she's got her stride a bit more in this set. More consistency. It's good variation here from Grzybowska, pushing when she needs to, bringing the defender back into the table and patiently waiting for the attack. Great rally this is. Oh. And there you saw a perfect example of how to play defense. Grzybowska read the float ball. You see here Grzybowska. Good spin. And then hit through strong stuff.
Yeah, just picking up on the point you made, Dan, which was a good point about Felis, the German player. Germany had 5 men compete in the men's singles, and that number is allocated on how well you do in the team event the previous year. If you're in the top 4 teams, Germany won the team event 1 year ago, 5 spots in the men's singles, and interestingly enough, they didn't give one to Felis, because they clearly feel that the defensive game on the men's side, it's more powerful and it's tough for a defender in the singles. Felis is ranked 19 in the world and didn't get a spot in the men's singles. He won the mixed doubles, gold medal in the mixed doubles, so he's performed really well, but you know, Germany didn't put him in the men's 7-up.
That is very interesting. Here we are, Li Qian, 9-7. Oh, it's a brilliant play there from Grzybowska. This time played that fast forehand smash attack into the wide forehand cross court. Here we see it. Cross. Beautiful. Superb play, patient, and attack when the time is right. Good chop. Brilliant stuff from Grzybowska. You see when the ball's coming in higher, there's not as much backspin.
Business end of the first game. Lee 5-love down. Now back at 9 points apiece, and Lee with a slight advantage. She serves with the black side of the racket. That's the reverse side. She'll turn it round straight after the serve and then go back to the pimpled surface, the red side of the racket, on the backhand. And she now has a game point. Oh, well read there by Grzybowska. She saw the hit coming. She anticipated the direction. And that was a great block.
No! 11-10.
Another game point saved by Grzybowska. 11 points apiece.
Yeah, what a great shot that was there from Grzybowska. It looked like Li Chuan cut the ball with backspin, but it just came high enough for Grzybowska to hit through.
12-11.
And that's why Li Chuan is one of the best defenders in Europe, able to attack in crucial points. Very difficult. Game point for Li Chuan.
13-11.
There needed, and
First
Li
game
Chuan
to
takes
lead.
the first game in this women's singles semi-final. Very close game that indeed there, Don.
Certainly unity, 13-11, but let's remember she was 5-love down as well, Dan, and then held her nerve when the pressure was on at the business end of the first game. And here we can see her in action. There you see her turn the bat round. Serves with the reverse side, twos are really popular, aren't they? Much more so now. But in fact, I was just thinking there, when you can see the tattoo on the left arm of Grzybowska, we don't have many
Second
in table
game.
tennis. They've not caught on in
Lead
table tennis yet,
serve.
have they?
Level.
Personally, I'm not. It's interesting how it's a trend in certain sports.
Yeah, the only person that springs to mind is Will Bailey. When he got gold in Rio, he tattooed Rio Olympics on his leg, I think. But yeah, it's very rare, and
Love 1.
it's sometimes a trend, isn't it? One footballer does it, and they all follow, and Grzybowska, the great backhand there. Really interesting battle. Both players pretty much know their games inside out, train with each other in the Polish national team. And that's superb there from Grzybowska. Really positive start, like we saw in the first game. Good spin up and then hitting through straight down into the middle. Very hard for Li Chuan to get her bat onto the ball. Oh, that's an excellent backhand.
Love.
Really good shot selection here from Grzybowska. She can keep consistent and stay calm and patient and hit the right shots. Very difficult for Li Chuan. So good pushing there back in. Yeah,
One,
heavy backspin there
three.
from Li Chuan. Really good stuff. Cutting underneath the ball. Lady in red.
Hallmarks of a flash. Here we see a defending backhand and forehand backspin. The ball's up, bang. Smashes that ball on the diagonal. She's coming back. 2 consecutive points for Li. And no spin there. She pushed that one through, went through the back of the ball. Grzybowska thought there was a little bit of backspin. She lifted, but of course, when there's no backspin there and you lift, the ball goes off the end of the table.
Three, 4.
It's a minefield, this whole situation, with all the different rubbers and different thicknesses and different coefficients of friction that they have, and to get the right racket can be a real challenge for the players. But of course, at this level, they're playing many hours, they'll try different things. But quite clearly, Li Qian settled down. Reverse rubber, good for spinning the ball, but it's good for varying the spin as well. But it's a little bit higher risk. The control factors down. The short pin balls are very good for controlling spin, for getting backspin, but you just can't quite. And that's why, of course, every time she serves, Li, she will serve with the black side of her racket. when the rally gets going, she tends to have the pimple side on the backhand.
4-6.
You won't remember, Dan, it's before your time, I'm giving my age away again here, but when the long pimples and we had an anti-loop rubber and players could turn the back round in the hand, and you weren't sure which side they used, and it was a completely different spin with exactly the same shot, and that was round about the early 80s. John Hilton won the European Championships with a combination bat, was constantly turning the back round in his hand, 1918 Bern, and that's why they introduced the rule about black and red. So that came in the early 80s, that you had to have a red sheet on one side and a black sheet on the other side. So the opponent knew.
8-4.
So in the case of Lee here, we know win the European Championships in 1980. And then he stuck around for a long time, did John. Great player, great character. One of the game's great characters.
8-5.
And of course, as soon as it came to black and red, points off his game. The deception factor just wasn't quite what it was. But meanwhile, Lee, 8-5 up, 3-0 down, 5-0 down in the first, 3-0 down, and just look at that, two very hard smashes, and then Lee turning those after two wonderful returns. She then into the table, attacks with the forehand, leads 9-5.
Now Lee has 5 game point. Uncomfortable for Grzybowska. Grzybowska making quite a few errors when attacking, but it's really hard to read. And as you say, Don, Lee's varying it with the pip side and the smooth side.
6.
In different spins. It's 1 game point saved. There we go. Lee moves into a 2-0 lead here in this women's singles final over Grzybowska. What's your take, Don? I feel Grzybowska has a...
Yeah, no, absolutely, Dan. She led 5-0 in the first game, as I just mentioned, 3-0 in the second game, but Li Qian just has never flapped for 11 points. She sort of kept it going for half a game, hasn't managed to keep it going for a full game. So I wouldn't write her off, but at 2-0 down, Li Qian is looking the favourite.
Yeah, it looks that way, Don. Really good stuff here from the lady in black and red. How focused she is there on her chops, recovering back to recovery position each time. Really good technique, allows her to play forehand and backhand very quickly with that neutral recovery position. Can Grzybowska get back into this game? Patience, variation. Let's see what she does here in this third game. Strong start there, good forehand, positive. I feel when Grzybowska can take the shots early and not give Lee much time, it's working well.
Block 2.
Lee coming in with the forehand smash, the right idea, but just missing. And again, Grzybowska takes the lead in this opening game. Can she maintain it this time round? Brilliant. Blistering backhand punch. So positive. As soon as Grzybowska plays any sort of weak push or slightly high above the net height, Lee's able to backhand punch away with spin as well. I think Grzybowska needs to try and play a few shots into the forehand. Middle, again, yeah, another fantastic backhand punch. Grzybowska needs to avoid that. She's pushing, she needs to push a bit more into the forehand corner. Here we're tied at 2 points apiece. It's better there, into the middle.
3-2.
Great serve, long, fast, good deception. And Grzybowska takes the lead, 3-2. Chiseled with backspin. Really tricky to play. On that forehand side, the smooth surface, Lee's able to get a lot of backspin, coming underneath the ball. Causing a lot of problems right now for Grzybowska in red. Backhand opener. Don, Grzybowska used her backhand there, and when she's used it, it's worked quite well. She's getting a lot of topspin on the ball, and sometimes it's quite good to do that against defence, I think, rather than always using the forehand.
Whoop, she hesitated there on the forehand. Spin is a great tactic. It's a slightly different point of contact, maybe slightly Grzybowski.
Five, 4. Four, 6.
Grzybowska in the lead, 6-4. Winning this set could give us some good confidence and start finding some momentum in this match.
5,
Again,
6.
such good defence there from Lee. Sometimes Grzybowska's forehand topspin and it's going directly into the bottom of the net, and then the next forehand's flying up. Fantastic stuff from the Polish defender. Good variation. And again there, this time heavy backspin. It's so difficult as an attacker to really read sometimes what's going on.
I think sometimes as well, Grzybowska knows that it's backspin, or she knows that it's no spin, but Lee's getting such an extreme between the heavy backspin, which she really has to lift, and then no spin. So I think sometimes she's reading it, but she's not quite lifting the excessive backspin. That ball is fizzing with backspin.
Yeah, you just see it there, Don. Again, heavy backspin. Lots of rotation on the ball. And it's for Grzybowska. And Lee remains really calm and tough cookie to beat. Not a bad idea for Grzybowska, but good fine spin from Lee, using that variation, mixing it up.
So again, as we move towards the business end, it's Lee who looks slightly stronger at the moment. 2-point lead. Now with her 2 serves to come. There, no spin.
9,
and of course
6.
Grzybowska knows when she's returning the service, she can't afford just to put the ball back, because if she does, Qian will be in and she'll attack. So she's under pressure to make a really positive return of serve. And then once the rally gets going again, she knows she can't play any half shots. There's the backhand
6,
hit.
10.
With the short pin, very flat does the backhand hit. We'll see that again on the replay. In she comes, bang, straight through the back of the ball, and you've even got to lift that back a little. Such is the effect of that short pimple surface.
11-6.
And there it is. Lee takes the
game to Lee.
third game, 11-6, leads by 3 games to 0. And what I have to say about Qian, she has impressed me. in the past when I've watched her play. But she just looked so calm. When she was 5-0 down in the first game, I thought, oh, this is going to be difficult.
Very, very composed gameplay from Li Chuan. I still feel if Grzybowska can get a set, find some sort of rhythm, find some tactics where she's being consistent and pushing to find something, I'd like to see Li Chuan be under a bit more pressure at the later stages towards each set.
Fourth
Game
game,
to see how
Li
she
serve,
responds.
love all.
Here we go. It's 0-0. Women's singles semi-finals. That's absolutely world play there from Li Chuan. I felt like Grzybowska did some good pushing there. Even though on that last push it was low, it was strong, but Li managed to topspin attack it away. And there it is again.
Love 2.
I think Grzybowska was a bit too passive there. She can't push too, like we just saw here, because then Li is looking for that attack. And here she pounced on it down the line.
Time out.
Love
Love 2.
Serving. But she is 2 points adrift. 2 love for Li. And then no spin.
Love
She lifted
3.
what she thought was backspin. Lifted the ball off the end of the table. And of course, Pazotska from the Ukraine already through to the final. She'll be sat, perhaps not watching this, she'll be probably having some rest and relaxation. Maybe just having a little bit of physio. But I don't think she'll be worried either way. She's very, very competent against backspin. It's looking like she's going to be against backspin in the final. The young lady there on the screen leads by 3-0, and is 4 love up in the 4th game. Spin to serve with the reverse side. Of course, Pazotska has 2 world-class defensive players in the Ukrainian team, and Katarzyna. So she'll practice regularly against backspin, and we saw her take out Han Ying in the quarter-final, the German defensive player, former top 20 player in the world. So whatever the outcome here, we're in for a very, very exciting final later today, and at the moment it looks as though Li Qian is the best bet, Dan.
Yeah, looking really strong here. Look at this rally. Brilliant stuff there from Grzybowska. Consistent, and that's the sort of rally she needs to play to win a point. That Li is. Again, patience, good pushing there from Grzybowska, keeping it low. And that last topspin there caused an error from Li. So if Grzybowska can be consistent, stakes. But again, it's so difficult with the amount of spin Li is producing. The body. Okay, that was fantastic play. Grzybowska found the pocket, found the elbow of Li. You see here, forehand. This one here, straight into the middle. That meant Li couldn't get any backspin on the ball.
4-all.
And another good block there from Grzybowska. Tied at 4 points each. Just watching Li's footwork as well in that rally. Her feet are so quick. She moves so well. You have to be a defensive player on this level. Stepping in, stepping out. That's absolutely world class. What a great rally that was, Don. And Grzybowska is starting to show that Li's able to keep the pressure.
There we see the footwork from Li Qian, always on the move, backwards, forwards, side to side, whatever's required. And there's the backhand
5
topspin you were
all.
mentioning before, Dan. Very effective. She plays it very well. Good technique, good use of the elbow on the wrist. She can spin up the back of the ball and she can go through the ball for a fast topspin. Might be a good tactic to use that. She's obviously
6-5.
agreeing with our thinking there. The backhand topspin could be the answer. She now leads 6 points to 5. 3-0 down though is the real challenge. 6-5 up in the fourth game.
5-7.
Good strong attack from Lee down the middle of the table.
Yeah, showing good promise here, Grzybowska. Put some pressure on Lee. This is the first time she's been ahead later on in the later stages of the game. Oh, that's, yeah, class.
6-7.
Very good spin up from Grzybowska. Lee was able to cut the ball back heavy to force the... Let's have another look. In fact, that was a float ball. That's why the ball sat up on... Getting that backhand on, it's definitely working. I think this is a bit more different variation. The forehand, Lee's got good judgment on, but on the backhand, struggling a little.
That's a good top spin down the line.
8-7.
Qian. Yeah, going back to the Grzybowska backhand, she takes it quite early. She brushes the ball, she hits through the ball. She's varying, and it's a slightly different timing than her forehand topspin. So it's creating more problems for Lee. So it's a very good tactic to use it. It's just has she got the confidence to do it.
7-9.
Consistent forehand topspins there. Out earlier in this fourth game. Worked well for Grzybowska. Not only has she got back, but she's got a 2-point lead at the business end of the fourth game. 9-7 up.
Eight.
Good heavy backspin there from Lee. You actually see Lee when she floats the ball. If she sees the opponent go to push, she anticipates that just to pop up a little bit, and you can see her moving into attack behind the float. Once she thinks, in this case, Grzybowska's about to push. A tactic a lot of defensive players use.
9-all.
So 9 points apiece. Who will serve? Forehand serve from the backhand side of the table. The loose grip there you can see. A little bit of extra wrist into the service action.
Ten,
Backhand.
9.
You certainly made a good call on that tactic.
Yeah, it's worked very well there. It's just a little bit of a different angle, different shot for Lee to deal with. Shot in this set, and it's worked so far. She has her first game point in this match.
10-all.
I feel like Grzybowska could have made an attack there. She was a bit passive after her knee attack. Lee knows she needs to attack strong. She does not want to give any sort of momentum here for Grzybowska, but she has got juice. 10-10. There's that backhand.
11-10.
It really is working. It's just got lots of protein. Look at that. Lee Tran is just not able to control it. Really.
And the push into the net
12,
from Lee
10.
Qian. And Grzybowska takes the
Fourth
fourth game.
Grzybowska.
12 points to 10. And the players back to their... Certainly the factor behind that victory for Grzybowska was the backhand topspin. She won 3 or 4 points outright with that against. Once you get into a rhythm as a defender, table. Interesting to see if she feeds the backhand, or whether she now tries to keep it away from the backhand.
Fifth game, Grzybowska to serve, love all.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting set, very important set for both players. If Grzybowska can take this one, we've got a real game on our hands. Is that backhand?
Law
Just
1.
misreading the float, no spin ball there on the push. It just went long. Again, very good variation from Lee. Tactical player. Brilliant point there from Grzybowska. Both players, fantastic rallies. Grzybowska turn that backhand here and then come into the forehand smash. Tremendous point. Great
1, 2.
I like the first shot that just way at the start of the point. Let's just see here. And then was able to go wide into the four. 2-1 to Grzybowska.
Great rally. The other thing that's happened is I think that Grzybowska's reading the spin a little bit better, but also when Qian attacks, Grzybowska is anticipating the direction of that attack and she's reacting that little bit quicker. So this still could develop into a very interesting semi-final.
Three,
Yeah,
2.
she's reading the spin well. Top spin, hitting through the ball when she sees no. Second serve in this sequence of 2 coming up for Grzybowska. Again,
2,
good
4.
example of the attack from Qian. And Grzybowska not only able to block the ball back, she was able
2, 4.
4-2 in the lead, Grzybowska. Oops, very focused there.
Three, 4.
Just needed to get the racket a little bit. Clearly, Qian a little concerned, hence the timeout. She'll know that when she attacks, Grzybowska's anticipating the direction well. That was wonderful retrieving there. Oh my goodness. She attacked 4 or 5 brilliant shots there, did Qian. A strong attacking shot that we saw. This one comes back. And the one into the body there. Drilled down the middle of the table. And it's 4 points apiece. This really is developing into a super contest.
Five,
Spinning the ball around the table with that backhand. Key factor, that backhand topspin that's brought Grzybowska back into this semi-final. 3-0 down, wins the 4th game, 5-4 up in the 5th game. And certainly looking a much more dangerous threat now for Grzybowska, although there the backhand just let her down. She lifted a fraction too much. So halfway stage of the 5th game, and it's 5 points apiece.
Heavy
6-5.
backspin serve. Grzybowska going for that backhand. Just misread the amount of spin on the ball.
Five, 7.
Time. Float ball. Grzybowska just sent it long. Players tailing down every 6 points. A lot of long with these two styles of players. Great point.
5, 8.
Interesting, that point, the ball there set up high, and I thought that was float.
Sure who's serving, it's been sorted out. It is, of course, Grzybowska with her second serve in this sequence of 2. And again, the timeout used by Qian appears to have been pretty significant. She's leading 8-5. Backhand, but she's playing everything into the forehand. That's a great attack. What a return by Grzybowska. And then the error with the smash down the line, the right. Always more difficult to go down. But that was a great point. And Qian now with her 2 serves.
Fantastic
9,
defensive play there for
6.
Lee. Grzybowska went for the push, but it came. Very good defensive play. You can see Grzybowska's a little bit annoyed with herself misreading that ball. 9-6 for Lee. Superb forehand. Red. Fantastic shot. Here it is again. Brilliant stuff.
Grzybowska, 2 serves to come, 7-9 down.
8, 9.
The first one. She won't want to be facing the Qian serve. Obviously, massive difference, so this point clearly crucial. Grzybowska's second serve. Points apiece. All square. Qian with the service. Slight advantage having service. But the last 2 games have seen a significant improvement in Grzybowska. Although Qian's making it a little bit more difficult now to get that backhand in, she's playing primarily into the middle, into the forehand of her Polish teammate. Straight into
9.
the forehand. Heavy backspin, butchered it. And it gives her a game point and a match point to make the final of the European Championships.
All.
Held her nerve, Grzybowska there. Alternate serving now, first player to win 2. Could that be a turning point? Let's wait and see.
Just forced the ball into the net there. Grzybowska frustrated there, sending the ball long. Forced the forehand into net, and here is another match point for Qian. There we go, guys. Qian is through to the final of the women's singles here at the European Championships with a phenomenal defensive performance and incredible attacking display as well, both defense and attack. What a great performance from her. Grzybowska played well, but the lady on the screen right now is the winner. And you can see the scoreline there. Impressive, 12-10 there in the 5th game. She won by 4 games to 1.
And I must say, well done, Poland. 2 players in the semi-final of the women's singles is a great achievement. Of course, only one can go through, and it was the defensive skills of Qian that hung on in there. She's getting her stuff together pretty quickly. Delighted, one would expect. We can just enjoy a few of the highlights now and see this world-class defensive player in action. But I have to say, Grzybowska came back strong when you think she was 5-love up in the first, and then it all went wrong. She lost that game. She lost the next 2. It was 3-0 down, but then she came back strong in the 4th, and it was ever so close in that 5th game. And in the end, it was the attacking skills of Qian that were decisive. Just look at that one into the body. Super play. So now it's a case of get back to the hotel for Qian, relax, and prepare herself for the women's singles final later this afternoon. Absolutely delighted, and why wouldn't you be? We're certainly looking at a new European champion this afternoon. It's just a